Hi there. A lot of videos are made on how to choose the best school. Today I am going to flip that. I am going to say, beyond best schools, can you be the best parent? So let's see what I have to say. So when we talk of best schools, one of the things to remember is that the child that you have is the most precious thing in your world, and that child is yours. So do not outsource that child's future, his character, his learning and everything to an outsider. Because when you say, I put you in a school, now it is the business of teachers to make sure that you become a man of worth. What are we doing there? We are outsourcing the child. It's the most precious thing that we have, because all your happiness depends on that child. The teachers will vanish, the school will vanish, but you, till the end of your life, that child's happiness and sorrow will affect you. So therefore, please remember that when we talk about children, we need to remember they are our children if we are parents. So today I am going to talk about what parents can do to make their children shine. And it is not, I am not going to ask you to teach at all. Okay? So let's see what I have to say. So when they are very little, when they are in pre-primary, one of the things that we need to do is to observe children. You will notice that your child is a multilingual child. Your child picked up language without a teacher, without a syllabus, without a school by the time he was 2.5 years old. Can you imagine what a miracle that is? If you have 2 languages spoken at home for any reason, if you have a woman coming to work who's bringing in a local language like Marathi or Gujarati into your house, that child will pick up 3 languages and speak to each one perfectly. How does that happen? So we need to ask ourselves, are schools succeeding in putting language on the child? We need to ask ourselves, what are we doing at home that we are so successful with languages? It is not you, it is the environment that is successful in teaching language. It's the listening that the child does to so many people, the speaking that is need-based. If you don't ask, you don't get. If you don't fight, somebody else will take more. It's almost survival. That is how they pick up languages. Is the school following that method, or is the school doing something else? That is the question. If the school is making the child at 3 read and write and do phonic rules, which you never did for the mother tongue or any of those languages, which the child picked up brilliantly, please remember that it is not going to work. There is a waste of time happening there. So ask, what are the books? What is the way in which pre-primary is being delivered? Use common sense and make sure that you send the child to a school where time is not wasted. What can you do at home with that child? That's the question. What you can do at home with the child is expose the child to a variety of things. Now when you look at school is only one small part of the child's life. The pre-primary child spends about 300 hours for the whole year in the school. The rest of the time is at home. The whole world is a book. Every experience teaches. The playground teaches, the outings will teach the child, the behavior of adults will teach, everything is a teacher. So, are we using that time to expose the child to this part of the world which the child has not seen, or are we doing more of the same thing that the school is doing? So, if you are making the child do more numbers, more letters of the alphabet, more phonic rules, then you are repeating what is happening. There is the exposure to 60-70% of the chunk of beautiful things sitting there child has not got. Your child has not got it. You have not been able to provide. There's no point in blaming the school because it's not their child. Therefore, that's number one. Number two, I want you to think of the cost. So they will tell you that, if you don't pay money, you cannot get a good education. The more you pay, the better it gets. Let me tell you, it's a myth. If you look at some of the greatest people in India, they came from the poorest of families and had the cheapest of educations. So how did they make it? That's the big question to ask. Fortunately for us, the whole world, intelligence is not something that is given to the rich and deprived to the poor. So if you put them in a bell curve, you will get equally intelligent children coming from every culture, every race, every class, every gender. That is the egalitarianism of nature. Thank God for that, right? So cost, when you talk of that more money and better education, that is not strictly true. You will get more opportunities, no doubt. But for education, what are the two things that you need? You need a brain, which all of us have, and I told you it's equal in terms of functioning, it's equal. What you also have today, which we never had before, is digitalization. If you have Wi-Fi, if you have a smartphone, if you have a computer, if you have anything, you can go to ChatGPT and ask where you will find things. You don't have to search also. You just ask the artificial intelligence, where do I find the best video for gravity, to teach gravity to a 6-year-old. You just put that question like how you would ask a friend. And it will give you sites, it will give you cartoons, it will give you stories. What is it that you cannot teach on your own in any language you want? Not necessary that you should have English. A concept can be taught in any language as long as the concept is understood, isn't it? So therefore, that is an equalizer, the digitalization which we don't use. Do not allow them to play mindless video games. That is where we say that, oh, there's too much of screen time. Screen time is not sitting in educational videos. Make sure that screen time is not given to mindless games. So therefore, people, cost is not such a big deal. Don't make a big thing about cost at all. Okay? You are actually paying for infrastructure, you're paying for that swimming pool, if there's a riding club there, you're paying for the horses, you're paying for everything. You are not necessarily paying only for education. Education needs bare minimum. Now let's come to facilities. You need to ask, how is the school delivering that curriculum? Do we need a lot of facilities? Today I told you we have digitalization. Earlier they used to take us to the library and show us, oh, we have got 50,000 books. Today do we need 50? We've got more than 50,000 books right at home, right in the palm of our hand. We've got the digital library. We've got a Kindle. We've got things that we can access books far more than any library can give us. So therefore, that also is out. See? What I am trying to tell you is, you don't need a fancy school to give a great education to anyone. You need to touch these things. Now, if you just tell the child, oh child, go and read a book. There are so many books digitally, why don't you go and read? That is not going to happen. But if you read, if you view, if you sit and watch something and you discuss it with the child, that is an input. If you are going to office, you come back and talk about certain problems in the office with your teenage son, that is an education. If you are cooking, you take your children along and give them various jobs to do, have a discussion with them on nutrition, that is education. So it's not like parents can't do anything, but parents don't have to repeat what is happening in school. This is something to remember. Okay? You need to find out the philosophy of that school. Now the philosophy of such school is not sitting in its prospectus, because they will say we do critical thinking, we do problem solving, we are risk takers, we have a social conscience. They will be full of beautiful words. What you need to do is find a notebook of someone going to that school and check if the questions that they are asking is all content, is a repetition of the textbook, or are they intelligent questions that are asking for personal responses, that are asking for life links. What kind of questions are we asking? What sort of innovation is the child doing? Are there diagrams of machines that the child has made in order to solve a problem in that book? What kind of a notebook is it? I would look at the notebook very closely to find out what kind of a school it is. I would catch a child in that school. If I know anyone who sends children to that school, I would go and visit them and I'd say, I'd like to have a chat with your son. I'd like to have a chat with your daughter, and find out how does that child speak. What are the child's attitudes to that school? You can find out. If I have a normal conversation to them about teenage problems, for example, if I have a conversation to them about the current state of the world in which war is going on, if they are older children, I'll get a lot of information on how much the school has made the child think. So there is proof and evidence sitting here and there. It is not sitting in prospectus, and it is not sitting in what the administrators and principals are telling you that about their school. That is marketing. You want to see the pulse of the school, you find a product of that school, and you will find that you understand how they do things there. So whatever the board, get a student, find on the net to see if there are any schools that are advertising their children, talking, showing you how children speak, how children work. They won't. They'll show you the infrastructure and they'll start playing music. You'll see the children, but there's music in the back, such loud music. There's nobody talking, nobody saying anything, no one discussing anything, no one talking about their findings, nothing. That is how shy they are of showing their products. So that's what I would look for. Look at whether there are communication skills are good, whether children speak well, whether children are collaborative, whether they do things together. So what kind of projects are you doing in class now is a good question to ask. Do you have any kind of social service in your school? What kind of questions do you get for your holidays? What do they ask you to do as projects for your holidays? Do they give you a lot of homework, or do they in subjects, or are they kind of asking you to reflect upon your relationships, on the places that you have visited? What are they doing? Find out. That is the pulse of a good school. It is not sitting anywhere else. Now, all of what I am saying you can do at home. You need to find the right resources. You need to give them the experiences at home. Whether you take them to a flower market or to a political meeting, you can always have a discussion after that. And that is a great input. So don't for a minute think that's not education, because all the links that we make, all the dots that we connect, all of that feeds into the child's intelligence. And it will come up at times when he needs to be most creative, when she needs to be most innovative. Those are the inputs that are going to pop out. So make no mistake about this. Indianization of education. How much culture? Are they doing yoga? Are they doing music? Are they listening to music, Indian music? That is a question. So if you listen to Indian music, and if you listen to different kinds of Indian music, you will automatically feel very patriotic. If you have food maps, and if you have clothes maps, and if you have maps of languages that we have in our country, we realize what a rich country we are. Now that is where the pride will come in and give me a kick, literally, of what a great country I am living in. It is not coming from saying I'm great, the others are rubbish. It is not coming from that. It's not coming from the ancients were so clever. No, you will create no pride. But when you talk about the variety of India, that is where we are unique. Nobody else in the world has got that kind of culture. There will come your Indianization. Then you will say, where is the art? What is the different kinds of art and music and instruments and cultures? Everything is so amazing. That's how you Indianize. So, what I would say to you is, you have a great role to play as a parent. Not just to scrutinize the school, but all of this that I told you, you can do at home comfortably in your time. You don't have to give up your jobs. You don't have to sit 24/7. Don't judge children. Don't tell them he is better than you. Why are you like this? Don't give any negative feedback to kids. Kids are precious. Give them lots of love. Give them lots of praise. Embrace them. Give them lots of experiences that only you can. What you can do at home, the school can never do. But if you waste that time replicating what the school is doing, then you are completely depriving your precious child of that wonderful experience. So, are you going to be the best parent ever? Then you don't have to worry about the school so much. The school is doing a good job. They are doing something that they think is happening. But if you have outsourced your entire child to them and you expect them to do everything 100% for that kid, it is not going to happen. And by the time you realize this, when they are in high school and ready to go to college, it will be too late. So start early, open your eyes, bring in resources that are not school into your homes, and give your child a feast. Let him or her enjoy life and all its inputs generously. All the best, guys. Do tell me how you like this video. This is Usha Pandit, your Mind Springs English teacher. Thank you.